Please join me and welcome to the stage Gail Andrews.
Wow. So, yeah, this is amazing. I have a testimony. I'm so excited about the MWR makeover and what it has done for me. So, I am a little winded. I need to lose weight. I used to work at IRS, and for many years, I was close to retirement, but you know how you've created this lifestyle. So I was making well over six figures, and it was like, I'm not going to retire because I have created this lifestyle. And so I said, I'm going to work for at least 7 more years so it won't hurt so bad. Yep, I said when my MWR money gets to a point where I'm not losing any income, then I'll retire. And I figured that would take about 7 years. Well, about 6 months later, my MWR income exceeded my expectations, and I was able to retire with no loss of income. So yeah, MWR is fire, and which is why I joined MWR. It wasn't about the services. I really didn't even know what they offered, but they had an amazing comp plan because I'm a winter, money motivated. So anyway, while I was making this money, I decided to use the services because they were there, they were free, they came with a membership. Submitted my credit reports, and I went from a 634 to an 813. Which allowed me to refinance my home and got my interest rate from 2.75 to 3.25 to 2.75. So that saved me thousands of dollars, brought a lot of money back into my household. I also submitted my bills, and they changed my debt sentence from what it was to 10 years earlier. So actually, 3 years from now, I'll be totally debt-free, including my mortgage. Yep. Then I took all of the additional income that was coming into my household, and Bill Shredder was fired too. I did all that. And then I was able to start investing. And so now I'm retired, and I'm investing, have a private reserve account. And Brian talked about this yesterday, how you spend so much of your life working, and it just becomes the norm, and so you can't even fathom anything outside of working. But when I retired, y'all, when I tell you, you don't have to get up to an alarm, there's no expectations, nobody depending on you. I'm like, thank you, Black Jesus. So it was amazing. But anyway, because of that, I was able to start a podcast. I was able to start a sticker brand, selling on Amazon. So now I'm bringing in more money, cash, asset, cash. Yes, it was all about that. So yeah, that's my keynote for today, and I appreciate the time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gail. That was absolutely awesome. Now we're going to hear from another tremendous leader in MWR that has done some special things. And just understand today, if you want to know how I built my business in the building era, man, I learned everybody's story, and I would just tell them over and over and over. So you guys, I clap for them, applaud for them, absolutely, but you should be taking notes so you know their story. So you can say, let me tell you what happened with this person. Let me tell you about this other person. And so now you're going to get to be able to say, let me tell you about this guy named Don Wilson. Don Wilson, come to the stage.
Thank you so much again for allowing me to be here and to share my testimony. So, what my life has looked like to get to $750,000 in net worth. With the experts, right? Here's the deal, and here's how important this amazing program is. With the experts, they got us back $480 on our very next paycheck, which is $960 a month. So, everybody in here went to school, right? They said 5 and above, we round up, right? So we'll call it $1,000 for even numbers. So it's a $12,000 increase that we brought back into our house. On our best year tax return, we got $3,500 back and thought we was Jay-Z and Beyonce. So the cash flow, $12,000 back, was absolutely life-changing. My wife and I then used the services. Her credit score went from a 660 to an 816. My credit score went from a 787 to an 834. During the pandemic, when everybody else was losing, we were able to refinance our mortgage and went from a 4.25 down to a 2.25, saved us $90,000 in interest. So we then took that cash flow, paid off every debt that we had, paid off student loans, paid off credit cards, paid off car notes, 60 months down to 13 months, paid it off in a year and a month. Talk about cash, asset, cash. We then took that cash, bought a rental property out in Cabo San Lucas that's now generating more cash for us. Talk about EDM, MWR, cash, asset, cash. I am now, honey, building your retirement home in Puerto Rico. And it's all because of everything that you guys have learned this weekend and the experts here and the amazing program with Make Wealth Real Financial. Thank you guys so much. God bless.
But you have to hear from this young lady because her story is incredible. But let's bring up two-star Nina Caldwell.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me tell you, before I joined MWR Financial, which was in October 2019, I was drowning in credit card debt, and I was living paycheck to paycheck. However, my brother introduced me to MWR Financial, and I started plugging in to the services they offered. The first thing I did was upload my two pay stubs and my taxes, and the MWR experts were able to get me $247 back into my household, my paycheck, every single pay period. That's $500 a month. As Don said, we're rounding up. So that's almost $500 a month. That's over $7,900 a year. Secondly, I went ahead and I checked into the debt elimination. And they devised a plan specifically for me, you guys, that allowed me to pay off my credit card debt to the tune of $50,000 in 14 months. That's freaking amazing. As a result, I then plugged into the credit restoration, and they were able to increase my credit score 156 points. I went from a 607 to a 776. After that, I was then able to plug into the wealth accumulation, and I now have a private reserve account. And so I'm growing my assets, and I also am now paying my daughter. Instead of giving her an allowance, I've now learned to put her on payroll. And because of that, she is now learning early about financial literacy. She's watching what I do, and she's able to do the presentations better than me. So this has been a win, win, win for my family. So thank you, MWR Financial.
I'm telling you, this is a feeding ground for learning how to talk to people about this business. Can you imagine you know how many people want to live her story? You guys didn't hear me. Do you know how many people in this country would love to live her story if they just knew? See, that's why we have to be bold and courageous to go out there and share the message. We can't be half-baked, milquetoast, soggy in the middle. You kind of want to think you want to maybe hear about what we do at MW. You got to let them know. This is what we have. So I love it. And the next person that's going to come to the stage, he does so many things here that helps us out. You heard him earlier when he talked about it and he did the great giveaway. So can we give it up to Mr. Ken Lawrence? Can you give it up to him?
How's everybody doing? Quick question. How many people in this room currently have a job? How many people in this room currently have a job but know that they're capable of doing something larger? I was that person. I had a traditional job in retail, had been doing retail for 17 years. Always knew that there was something out there bigger. Made good money because on top of having the retail job, I also had a business. But you know, you can have a lot of money and still be broke. That was me. So upon joining this business, the first thing I did was the same thing everybody else did. Got the experts to look at my taxes. Quickly realized that there was $600 a month that I was missing in tax money. Okay, we got that money, jumped right into the credit restoration part of the program. Got my credit up 197 points, was able to refinance my home from a 4.6 to a 2.2. Insurance premiums plummeted. And now I'm looking, I have these two businesses, so now what can I do? Maybe I can start adding staff now, because currently I was doing everything myself. So when we talk about the business, guys, it's more than just the liquid assets. It's the ability to start gaining freedom because you're going to start getting that extra income. On top of that, I am now completely self-employed. I travel with MWR all around the country doing their uniform program for them. We also have contracts all over America with schools, state programs, organizations, and I am completely debt-free with the exception of my mortgage and my vehicle. But the one thing about this company, guys, that a lot of people don't get, and we talk about it so often, is that before you can see it on paper, you have to see it here. And I've told this gentleman this over the phone before, but I want to publicly thank Brian Bean for being the man that gave me a vision that was so big that it allowed me the opportunity to step out and do things I never thought I'd be able to do. You're looking at a guy that comes from very, very humble beginnings. And even though right now on paper I'm still successful, I'm just as humble now as I was then, but it's because of people like Brian, people like Charles, and people like all of you who have made this journey along with me. So for those of you who are not seeing what you want to see, get around people who are going to motivate you, people who are going to push and breathe life into you, and just keep pushing. I guarantee, guys, it's there. Thank you.